Alright, so today we're going to be talking about self-critiques, the last part of the aeronautical decision making. Hi friends, my name is Jorge Muñoz. I'm a senior instructor pilot working in El Salvador, and this is the very last bit of the ADM process that we will see for now. Self-critiques. What does that exactly mean for us, and how can we critique ourselves? This is a fairly short topic to talk about, but in my opinion it was too long to add to the hazardous attitude video. I don't want to make 20 minutes long videos. I want to keep them short so they can be like more bite-sized or more entertaining, if we can call them like that. I think 20 minutes is way too much for YouTube vids like this. If you want to see all what we have talked about during these last videos, I will leave the playlist of the ADM process in the description of this video. Feel free to check that out, but for now, let's finish this. As always, this video is going to be divided in different sections, so here on the screen you will see the timestamps for each specific section. Also, you will find the timestamps linked in the description of this video down below, and also in a pinned comment down below. So if you're in a hurry or you just want to know about one specific thing about this video, please feel free to jump to the timestamp that you're interested in and go use your time in something more productive. But if you want to see the whole video, I appreciate it quite a lot. I always try to explain what I talk about in a simple way so that everyone can comprehend it, or at least get a general idea of what otherwise could seem very complicated. So please, even if you are not inside the aviation world at all, or you are just starting your private pilot training, but if you're interested in this topic, I still highly recommend you watch this video. You will probably get something out of it. The last point I want to make about this whole theme of ADM process is self-critiques. We have already talked a good bit about everything we can do before and during the flight to make it safer, to assess ourselves, but what about after the flight? Just as you do a very good briefing before each flight, it is important as well to do a very good briefing after every flight. It doesn't matter if you flew alone or with someone else. You should always try to evaluate yourself. What did you do? And did you did it well? What can be improved and how? During the debriefing is where you can think back into the flight and evaluate your own performance. Don't be afraid to take some notes about it. Our brain is dumb and we forget a lot of things. So write down what you thought about yourself as soon as you thought it. Trust me, it will be much more easier for you to go back to it later. If you're an instructor, you have to evaluate the performance of your student as well as yours. And if you're a student, you should be doing exactly the same. Always think to evaluate both of you. Create a plan of how you both can work and improve on those things. I don't know, maybe your flight skills if you think that your landings can be better. Or your procedures during flight may be a little rusty. If you feel you are taking way too long in order to execute them. Maybe you need a little refresher of your theory, or a refresher of the manual of the airplane. If you think that you don't control the systems of it as well as you should. If you're flying alone, it could sometimes be very difficult to critique yourself. After all, this video is about self-critiques, not the critiques that maybe other people around you have about you, which can also help, by the way. But here you have a question that may help you with your own critiques to yourself, if you don't know exactly where to begin with your self-evaluation. If I were to have my check ride tomorrow, with what part of the flight would I be least happy about? That also includes theory, okay? If you're asked questions before, during and after the flight, that counts as well as part of the flight. Remember that the flight doesn't start when you start the engine, and it doesn't end when you turn off the engine. Did you get a clear answer from that question? Or at least a few ideas of where you can start looking? As final thoughts, if you're a student, my advice would be that you listen. Listen to what your instructor says you need to improve. With time, you will be feeling yourself out. Ask him not just to teach you how to fly, but how to know yourself what you need to improve. It's not that easy to critique yourself at the very beginning. when you don't have a lot of experience. But with time, when you start learning what is a good flight and what is a bad flight for you, you can start evaluating yourself. Remember, always try to actively think what went well for you during that flight, what went wrong, and write it down to not lose any detail. Take that extra step for you to determine if it was an overall good flight for you. And if you're a pilot on your early days as an instructor, my advice would be pretty similar. Just an extra thing. Remember that the more you improve yourself, the more room you give yourself to improve your students. They need you to critique and evaluate yourself, so you can be a better instructor with every flight. Learning from someone as well as teaching to someone will become very difficult when both of you have a similar or the same level of knowledge or ability for that subject. Wrapping up, self-critiques. They are good, but they can be very difficult to learn how to do. It's not always that easy to critique yourself, but make the effort and try. Try to evaluate yourself every time you can. Remember to ask yourself the question, if I were to have my check ride tomorrow, with what part of that check ride would I be least happy about? When you find a proper answer to that question, then that will be a first step to learn how to self-critique yourself properly. So that's the end of today's video. If you want to become an outstanding private pilot, or if you are curious and you want to prepare yourself in the best possible ways for all the tests to come, I highly recommend you should check out my book Essential Knowledge for the Private Pilot. You will find the link of the book in the description of this video. It's an Amazon Kindle exclusive, and this book uses the two most effective study techniques in the whole world, active recall and spaced repetition, and it applies them into aviation. If that sounds good to you, then please go check out the book in the description down below. It is available in English as well in Spanish. Remember, you shouldn't be studying hard, you should be studying effectively. And with this book you can do just that. Thanks very much for watching. If you enjoyed this video or at least found it somewhat interesting, please give it a like. If you learned something new, I'll appreciate quite a lot if you hit the subscribe button. And if you just feel like it, you can also follow me in Instagram. The link is also down below in the description. I upload very cool photos over there. Or at least they seem cool in my head. I am trying to upload videos every week, mainly explaining topics that has to do in a way or another with the IFR world, but in a logical order. And also I will be probably talking about aviation in general and education in general, but always trying to contribute something new to you. If you have a question or an opinion about something I said during this video, or you want me to talk about something, please feel free to comment down below, or you can get in touch with me in Instagram. I would love to hear what you have to say. If you found this video interesting, then you should check out the playlist of the Human Factor series that I'm doing. I will leave that link over here in the screen. Once again, thanks for watching, and I hope to see you in another video. Bye.